Hello, you lovely chuckle fucks. It's your boy, Dark Raku here with What If Issei Became Just Like Madara, or like Madara. Madara Uchiha. Not the point. Now, I should mention one thing. I woke up my ass a while ago, so yeah. I fell asleep somewhere, I think around 3 o'clock. So I might be a little tired. Maybe. Maybe not. No. But that's not the point. Let me begin this as What If. Let me shut the fuck up, and yeah. So we go into mostly Issei, Rainer, Mintel, and even Calawerner going towards mostly school. Now, of course, they just decide to change their names back to normal instead of like calling each other by mostly their kind of false names. But yeah. So of course, Kakashi knows about Rainer, Calawerner, and Mintel. So yeah, no last names, but yeah. Now, Kakashi is just so worried about Issei. Reason why is because, well, Issei already has the two Yasuha, mostly uncles, kind of little sisters, always around him, kind of either being near the store, blah blah blah. Just those two girls always kind of near Issei, which, not gonna lie, Kakashi doesn't know how perverted they are because mostly uncles perverted. So of course Kakashi's a little worried because if Issei is turned perverted, the only person that he's gonna get blamed by is Kurenai and most of the girls in the village. Yes, because they can't blame Uncle. You know, they blame Kakashi because of the whole time he'd be reading that what's it called, Make Out Paradise. So yeah. So of course he's a little worried. Now of course he's even more worried with the three girls that he now has. Not as daughters, but just people that just stay in his house because he didn't really want to be considered daughters that much. So yeah. That then he doesn't really need to adopt them at all. So yeah. Since Issei is basically his biggest responsibility, Calawerner, Rainer, and even Minto are not. So yeah. So Kakashi's just saddened. He might have to buy a bigger house or might have to buy his old house since mostly, yeah, they're gonna start growing up. Either he decides to kind of like do a Harusen and leave the three girls into their own apartments, just like how Harusen did to Naruto, or he would just have to buy, his old house. Mostly what I'm talking about the old Hatake house, mostly where him and his father used to live. But of course, it brings some depressing ass memories, mostly for Kakashi. But then again, I guess he then thinks about the house won't be lonely because then there's Issei, mostly Issei Uchiha, and of course, Calawerner, Rainer, and even what's it called, Minto living there while he goes to do some missions. This is where, well, Kakashi just sighs. He does have lots of money. He just doesn't waste it that much because, yeah, whatever. I mean, he wasted a lot on what's it called, Make Out Paradise, but it doesn't really, doesn't actually, what's it called? Like, he hasn't wasted that much money. It's still a lot, he has, but yeah. This is where Kakashi sighs and just says, still, if I don't buy that house and get each of them rooms, where I mean the girls can have their own rooms, while Issei, yeah, he needs his own room, because when they become teenagers, oh no. This is where Kakashi says, oh no, wait, how do they change without looking at each other? This is where Kakashi then thinks about it. Now, of course, I should mention he's in his house reading mostly his Make Out Paradise. He was just thinking life lessons, or not even life lessons. He was just thinking about life most of the time. And a strategy about his kid problem, somewhat. Now, of course, mostly the four kids that usually live with him are right now at school. So, of course, Kakashi's trying to wonder what to do. But, yeah. Now, of course, he knows graduation is going to be in like a couple of months. So, yeah, that's a thing. Now, he wished that he didn't need to buy a house, but he's going to have to buy a house and worry about his students and his own child and the three girls and then mostly the other two girls. So yeah, this is where Kakashi sweat drops and can't believe Issei already has kind of somewhat a semi-harem and mostly 12 years old. Kakashi was already, he knows about the experience about girls going after him, like flocking over to him, because when he was a child, a bunch of girls went after him because he was considered a bad boy. Now Issei is also considered to be a bad boy, but mostly he looks quite handsome for being a 12-year-old because of his face. Now he looks He doesn't have any scars on his face. Like his skin is very silky, kind of smooth. Now, of course, it's not white. It's kind of tan, but yeah. Now, he just looks like was a straight up Indra. But yeah, right here. With kind of reddish hair, kind of reddish highlights, but somewhat brown at the same time, like darkish brown. Now, of course, Issei does have lightish green eyes, like very emerald green eyes. So, like, they're green, like emerald green eyes. Like, anyone would like those kind of color of eyes. Like, they're, yeah. Now, this is where, well, mostly Kakashi then thinks about cutting Issei's hair because it's quite long. Now, Issei refuses sometimes. Yes, Kakashi has tried to do this for like 2 days a while ago. And of course, he asked Issei if he wants his hair cut. But no, Issei refuses to. So, of course, Kakashi just sighs. Because mostly, when Issei has longish hair, it kind of looks like he's a girl somewhat. But it's not really. Now, Kakashi's now thinking what to do. But yeah. But we go into mostly, well, the academy. We go into a Pacific classroom that's right now quite, how should I say, quiet. For one reason. 2 pranksters are right now not in school. Well, how should I say, not pranksters, but mostly one person who's considered a prankster is not in school. And also the other person, or, well, they are in school, they're just kind of taking a nap with the most laziest person. But yeah. And what I mean about this is all 3 of them right now are just sleeping right next to each other and they don't care. Now, the teacher is right now getting tick marks because he's literally trying to teach and these 3 motherfuckers just fell asleep. Like, what the fuck? Now, the 3 students are Naruto Uzumaki, Shikamaru, what's it called? Shikamaru, what's his last name? Fuck. What was it? No, not Shigaraki. I meant Shikamaru Nara. I don't know why I fucked that up, but yeah. Shikamaru Nara is also asleep. And this is where the last person that's asleep is. Now the new student actually named. Well, he's considered to be kind of old student, but then again, new student, just newest. That being Issei, mostly Issei Uchiha, but yeah. Now, they're all sleeping, while 3 other girls are kind of sweating. Well, mostly, a lot of girls are kind of sweat shopping, but mostly 3 of them in particular, who are considered new students a while ago, mostly 2 days ago, are kind of just sweat shopping at mostly Issei's antics, and also with Shikamaru and freaking Naruto. Now, 2 other girls are kind of sweat shopping, but yeah, and of course, mostly all the other girls are kind of just sweat shopping. Now, one girl with kind of like whitish, shiverish hair, kind of also having like these pinkish eyes, kind of just narrow her eyes at Issei. Now, Issei, he is considered to be quite smart, but at the same time, he's kind of lazy like Shikamaru. So, yeah. Now, Issei is just taking a nap while mostly, well, Aruka keeps like trying to teach, but of course, hearing snoring now thanks to Naruto. Just to where, well, Aruka turns around, throws chalk at all 3 of them. This is where Shikamaru, he gets smacked in the head and say, "Oh, what is happening? Is it time for school?" This is where he opened his eyes. This is where, well, Ruka switched off. When the chalkboard was about to hit Naruto just decided to like turn to the right because he can sense like something actually going towards him because he has been training with Issei. But he mostly like turned to the right. The chalkboard missed mostly the chalk stick, mostly not chalkboard, chalk stick. While Issei just catches that too with 2 fingers. They're still asleep. This is where, well, everyone says, "Damn." While, well, mostly Shikamaru says, "I gotta learn how to do that, man." Which he could have done something. He could have like used Shadow Barrage Jutsu before the attack even hit him to be stuck in mid-air. But yeah, instead he just decided not to do any of that because he's lazy as hell. Now, this is where, well, Issei just like tosses the chalk stick away, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei kind of opened his eyes and says, "We done already? Is it time to go home?" Issei woke up just to say that. Now, of course, where, well, Ruka sweat drops and says, "No, we still have a little bit of time. Now, pay attention." Actually, no, how about you do this question? Pretty much it's like a math question, and Issei just walks down and does where, well, he does the question in only like 30 seconds. Like, he finished that shit instantly. This is where, well, Aruka says, "Huh? Wait, what? Huh? How the..." This is where, well, Issei said, "Bye, Aruka, I'm going back to sleep." This is where Aruka says, No, get back here and explain to the classroom how you did it." This is where Issei turns around until the bell rings, and this is where, well, Issei says, oh, look at that. It's the lunchtime. Well, time to go. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, I'm gonna go get some ramen. This is where, well, mostly someone shot up and say, ramen, ramen. This is where Naruto is just running off to go with Issei, but yeah. Now, of course, this is where, well, everyone just sweat drops. Aruka then looks up to see where Shikamaru is, and Shikamaru is gone. Now, this is where Aruka says, how the fuck did he even do that? Well, mostly Shikamaru is gone, but he looks outside to the window and sees Shikamaru under a tree. This is where, well, right now, mostly Aruka is questioning life. How the fuck did you do that when you're considered the laziest person, the slowest person, and yet you became the fucking Flash and went over there? What the fuck? So yeah, Shikamaru was under a tree, but yeah, and looking at the clouds and taking a nap, but yeah. Well, everyone's shocked and dumbfounded with the trio of mostly sleepyheads, but yeah, they're gonna call them for that for right now. Now, of course, well, Issei is kind of like going to get some ramen with Naruto, and this is where Naruto kind of just gave out a question saying how they even knew about the answer about, well, what's happening on the board. This is where Issei gives out a little small chuckle and turns his eyes a little bit reddish color for a second. Right now, going into the Sharingan, this is where Issei says, oh, Naruto, you should know much, well, not really. He doesn't put him into a Sharingan, just his eyes go slick, and this is where Issei says, oh, Naruto, you should already know that I didn't know the question, and I just decided to cheat. This is where, well, Naruto chuckles and says, I see. I should probably do that also. Naruto yawns mostly more. This is where, well, it just says, yep. I thought you, well, this is where it just says, so, wanna do more pranks against the villagers? This is where Naruto says, yeah, you bet, yeah. This is where, well, mostly he says, yeah, bet on that, because I'm gonna prank the hell out of everyone. Exactly. This is where Naruto's eyes, they became orange. Mostly they were a bluish color until they became orange and slick for a second. This is where, well, mostly both of them are just having evilish smiles on their face. But before doing that, they kind of went to go get some ramen. Now, the reason why Naruto has his eye being slick orange, I'll mention that later. But he kind of, I must say, well, not accidentally, he fused with someone to become a kitsune. Now, not the point. Let me get into this what if. I'm not gonna explain any further. Let me just kind of go into this what if, okay? Now, Issei and Naruto just get to the ramen shop. Now they're eating. This is where, well, Naruto kind of gets kind of like a little bit pushed over by mostly a ninja group. That being, well, mostly Might Guy's group, being what's it called, Tenten, Lee, and also, well, what's it called? Neji's. Yeah, Neji. Now, of course, Neji wasn't the one to push him. It was mostly Tenten. And Tenten said, oh, I'm sorry. This is where she kind of bowed down towards Naruto. Naruto says, no, it's fine. This is where Issei, well, not Issei, Naruto had a little tint on his face, but this is where, well, he then says, she's actually interesting. Right now, Naruto thinks in his head. This is where Issei kind of just chuckles at what Naruto's antics. And this is where Naruto turns around and sees Issei right now kind of just whistling away. And this is where, well, Naruto feels like he's in danger right now from the fact that Issei might have saw him just blush a little bit when he saw Tenten's face. But yeah. Now, Issei knows that these are all kind of 13-year-olds. They are a little bit older than, what's it called, him and Naruto. But this is where, well, he's kind of wondering, what to do. Now, there's what's it called, why he's thinking what to do is kind of like he's thinking of getting what's it called, like, Neji really fucking mad because he knows Neji's a prick in part 1 Naruto. Now, this is where, well, Issei kind of went to, well, he got some like very hot peppers, and when all like the Might Guy team kind of got like what's it called, their ramen bowls, and of course we're eating. This is where, well, or before starting to eat, Neji kind of like noticed something from his corner, like something kind of like flash, like a light, which kind of confused him when he turns back around. Now, of course, this is where all of my guys turns around to see what's happening. And this is where, well, Neji sees nothing. When he turns back around and eats some of his food, hot! Yes, mostly his mouth started breathing out literally fire from his, like, just mouth. Like a dragon. But it's not a dragon of rage, mostly a dragon that literally has fire in his mouth. And this is where, well, mostly not Kakashi. Right now, what's it called? Neji is trying to, like, get some water. Asking for water because he's dying. This is where, well, when they bring the water, mostly he drinks it, and of course it doesn't help. This is where Neji says, I need milk! This is where Neji runs off, and this is where all of them are confused. This is where, well, Tenten decides to take a bite of mostly the ramen. But before doing that, mostly Naruto already knew what happened. Mostly, even though no one saw it in an instant, but Naruto did. His eyes went slick orange when he noticed Issei already threw like some pepper in the, what's it called, Hyuga's kind of like bowl. And just said, fuck it, this man can suffer. Now, this is where Naruto managed to stop, what's it called, Tenten from mostly eating it. And of course, the reason why he did is because mostly Issei already knows. Because mostly Naruto kind of already fell for her a little bit. But yeah. Now, this is where, well, Naruto says, it's fine. This is accidentally mine. They gave the wrong one. Now, of course, this is where, well, mostly Tenten nodded. And this is where Tenten kind of asked for another one. So when Neji comes back, but yeah. This is where Issei kind of looks at Naruto saying, you really eat it? I can already, well, this is where Naruto says, I'm immune to hot stuff. Sure, go ahead, then do it. This is where Naruto eats all of it. Now, of course, his face becomes a little bit redder. Not because of him being blushing or anything. It's kind of fucking hot. Now, of course, he managed to kind of just hold it in and managed to kind of, like, get rid of the hotness. But, yeah. This is where, well, Issei chuckles inside how, well, mostly his face became red and, yeah. Now, of course, we go into a time skip of mostly Issei and Naruto patrolling the hell out of the Anbus. Now, the Anbus does not know what the fuck happened, but mostly all their clothing and mostly their mask is fucking pink. They just don't know what the fuck happened. They were literally just kind of viewing, mostly they were in the Anbu base, and of course, something happened, like a smoke screen happened, which of course they went after whoever decided to intrude to the Anbu base. They couldn't find anyone, but all they knew is a bunch of spray pans activated at once. Before they could even use body flicker, all of them were coated in fucking pink color. This is where all of them are just shocked, dumbfounded, and just how? This is where, well, both Naruto and Issei were dying laughter after seeing pink Anbus jumping from, like, mostly building to building. When Hiruzen did decide to call upon the Anbus, mostly the specific Anbus, because mostly Naruto said that he had a little gift to them, or gave them a little gift. Hiruzen wanted to know what the hell that was, and found out Anbus are now pink. And decides to just leave them like that. He then says, yeah, you guys are fine, so I'm gonna just leave you guys like that. This is where the Anbus say, no, we need spare clothing. This is where, well, Hiruzen says, no, I'm gonna leave you like that. This is where, well, mostly Hiruzen says, that's your fault for letting Naruto being able to fucking, like, paint all your clothing pink. This is where, well, the Anbus are just dumbfounded. It's Naruto who screwed them over. That little... This is where, well, both Issei and Naruto are just dying laughter. They just couldn't resist. This is where, well, mostly they're about to get to school, but this is where Reina was near the gate, and this is where she narrowed her eyes seeing Naruto and Issei. This is where, well, Reina walks up to, well, Issei and Naruto, and this is where, well, Issei was still chuckling, saying still, fucking, the color shit that we gave them, we should have definitely painted their shit neon pink. This is where Naruto says, you're right, it would have been much more funnier. This is where Reina says, where the hell have you two been? Actually, I don't really care about Naruto that much, but still, where have you been? She grabs Issei from the collar, and this is where Issei says, can you let go of me, Reina-chan? This is where Issei said it was such a lovely kind of, mostly not lovely, mostly a tone that's quite gentle at the same time, very, well, mostly, how should I say, seductive a little bit. So, of course, where Reina lets go of mostly Issei, while her face becomes crimson red. The same color of mostly great red's kind of like scales. This is where Issei chuckles and says, oh, come on, Reina. are you blushing right now? I thought you hated the fact that I call you Chan. This is where Rainer says, shut up. This is where she walks away, right now acting kind of tsundere. This is where, well, mostly Naruto says, sheesh, how the hell do you even live with that? I don't know. I don't really know. She screams in the middle. I remember told you the fact when I kind of, how should I say, met her and I let her sleep in my bedroom. She's screaming in like the middle of the morning, which I was fucking confused and I fell off my bed. This is where Naruto says, oh yeah, I forgot you told me that. Damn, that sucks. Did her ears suck or something? Mostly did it became ringing or something? He says that they wouldn't stop ringing for a couple of hours. Ah. If I would have expected, I thought that was literally her kind of mostly bloodline to be able to scream people's ears off. This is where, well, Naruto chuckles and says, that sucks. No, this is where, well, mostly Naruto says, so, are we gonna have training later or what? Issei says, no, not really. I'm going to do something. So, maybe I won't be able to be here the whole week. You know, I'm gonna go start on some missions. This is where, well, Naruto, like, deadpans and mostly the fact Issei said that he's going to start on some missions. This is where, well, Naruto chuckles and says, oh, right, you're not starting any of the missions in the Leaf Village. You're starting them on your, yep, secret account. It's just so cool. Man, I want to go. This is where Naruto says, have you learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu? Fuck you, I haven't learned shit. But didn't I taught you 2 different clone jutsus. That was the multi-shadow clone jutsu and also, well, the blood clone. Have you learned the blood clone? No, I haven't. It's still so difficult. The multi-shadow clone jutsu is easier, but not the other one. Well, you are not going with me because I need to do this on a solo mission. This is where Naruto then actually whispers into Issei's ear, saying, who else knows about this? This is where Issei says, just you and Kurama. This is where Issei said towards mostly Naruto's ear. This is where, well, Naruto nodded. Now this is where, well, Issei knows about Kurama and also, what's it called, Naruto knows about Kurama. This is where, well, or also Kurama, whatever. You like to say it, Kurama, whatever. Now, mostly, Issei says, so, I'm going to be going by myself. Don't worry, it's not going to be a hard-ass mission. Besides, not many missions are hard for me. I'm just going to have to keep it on the low when I actually get a team. Or when I go onto a team. Which, by the way, I think you should try at least your best on the, what's it called, Academy bullcrap. Because if you become dead last, you're going to end up with Sasuke and Sasura. And not going to lie, those two are annoying as fuck. Why do you think I want to be in the middle instead of, like, actually trying my hardest? This is where, well, Naruto swatch ups and says, that is fucking true. If I'm still dead last, I'm screwed and I'm gonna have to be with those 2 idiots. You're right. I should start trying. Exactly. Don't try too hard, because you might accidentally go all the way to the top, and then you might have to be with Sasuke and Sakura still. So just stay in the middle around with me and Shikamaru. Not gonna lie, I already have the best idea for Shikamaru's team, and this is where Naruto says, and who's that? Ino? Are you oh no, Shikamaru's screwed. Let me finish. Ino and Choji. Okay, at least he's not that screwed, Naruto said. This is where Issei says, pretty much, the only reason I know about this is because of their clans being, like, somewhat together. The Yamanaka, Narwa, and even the Aburame. Or not Aburame, the Akimichi. This is where, well, Naruto said, oh, you're talking about that legendary trio. Yep. That's why I'm thinking they're literally gonna be put together. Even if Shikamaru's the top best, he's still gonna, like, be with, Ino and the others. Now, that sucks. This is where Naruto sweat drops and says, still, I wouldn't mind having Shikamaru on our team. Yeah, it would have been cool. Having one of those smart people. This is where, well, Naruto says, I thought you were supposed to be smart. I'm stealthy, logical, and I'm basically the strongest and the best. I'm not the strongest and the best, but I'm the strongest and the best in that classroom. Second coming is you, somewhat. You're not the smartest. Okay, screw you. This is where Naruto said towards Issei. Issei chuckles and says, just saying. Also, you're probably not the strongest. This is where, right now, Naruto says, okay, fuck you, man. Let's just go inside. This is where Issei chuckles and says, yeah, let's just go inside. Now, we go into mostly a time skip of mostly the next day. Now, Kakashi goes off on a mission because he needs to go off on a mission saying that he's going to go get some money and other stuff to kind of do something for mostly all three of them. Now, while Kakashi already left like during the night and other stuff, this is where, well, not Naruto, Issei kind of told Reiner, Mito, and Calorner that he's also going on a mission because mostly someone decided to kind of ask him for a mission. Now, they know about the white Zetsu that usually appears to talk to Issei, so of course they know about the whole mission, bounty stuff, and other stuff. Now, the reason why Issei has this is, what if ever something happens to him, like, if ever, like, the Leaf Village decides to betray him, or he decides to betray the Leaf Village, which he hasn't decided. He hasn't really decided that much. But he just kind of already had this as a backup plan if mostly the Leaf Village didn't accept him in the beginning to kind of go into a Leaf Village or whatever. He had this as like mostly being like a bounty hunter tavern. Now, of course, he was actually hired recently a while ago, so of course he's going to go do that mission. Now, this is where, well, Issei kind of makes a blood clone appear next to him, and this is where, well, mostly Reiner, Mito, and Calorner are just shocked to see a blood clone. Now, of course, well, Issei says, okay, I can answer only 3 questions, and I know I'm going to have to answer Reiner's questions faster. This is where, well, mostly Reiner says, wait, what? Calorner right now says, so this is a blood clone. Can it easily pop if you kind of hit it hard enough? No. It can regenerate back into mostly, if, a little bit back to normal with the blood. I see. So it's a much more durable kind of clone. Yeah, it's like the original, like me. But it's a blood clone. It can still get killed if when enough force. An S-rank jutsu might be able to kill it. I see. This is where Mito says, can I learn this? Issei said, maybe later I'll teach you. This is where Mito says, really? Her eyes become shiny and stars actually appearing in her eyes. This is where, well, Issei says, let me protect all the questions for you, Reiner. You're thinking if I can make multiple clones when we're older. This is where, well, Reiner says, no, that wasn't even the thing. I know that your face became a little tint of red after we said if we become older. You're thinking of having a fun time with me and my clones. A multi-fashion, how should I say? This is where, well, Reiner says, no, that wasn't even the thing I was thinking about. This is where, well, both Calorner and Mito just switch off, ask Reiner. But of course, they chuckle at how Issei protected that shit. This is where Issei said, you're thinking if I can, well, make them in every different type of size. This is where, well, Reiner says, that's not the questions, you idiot. I wasn't even trying to ask you. Okay, ask me the questions. Yeah, I forgot them all. This is where Issei said, shh, are you sure the other questions that I said wasn't the ones that you were questioning in your head? Shut up. Just go ahead already. This is where, well, Issei says, okay, don't destroy this clone. I swear to God, if you destroy this clone, I will kill you. But right now, I don't know how long I'm going to be taking on this mission. It's mostly it's not that far from the Leaf Village. Well, it's technically not that far, but mostly a small village decided to hire me to kind of get rid of some bounty, well, not bounty hunters, some, well, crooks and thugs and also some freaking, like, bandits. Other than that, I'll be going. Don't do anything stupid with my clone. And also, Reiner, do not try to sleep with it. We're still children. Stop trying to think you're gonna sleep with it. Also, it has a conscience of its own. So it's basically my conscience with it. So you can't try to sleep with it. It's not emotionless. This is what Reiner kind of says, huh? That wasn't even... Your face is all red, while Mito and even Cal were bursting out laughter. Kind of seeing how Reiner's face is all flustered and red, but yeah. But this is where, well, we go into mostly Issei kind of already leaking. Well, let me say it again. Leaving. Now, when Issei decides to disappear, he runs towards the gate, but not right. He kind of just jump over it, missing some people from seeing him. Yeah, mostly managing to escape from them from actually seeing him, but yeah. That's the way, well, Issei kind of, well, he doesn't, well, yeah, he just escaped, but yeah, not the point. That's the way, well, we go into Issei right now, going towards the village that he needs to be at. Now, this is where he managed to get to the village, and this is where, well, he talks to somewhat of a princess in the village. She's considered to be a princess in the village. The village is called, what the hell should I call it? Wait. Now, of course, I'm gonna just say clay, the village hidden in clay. Somewhat not clay, hidden in clay. Mostly it's the clay village because most of the houses are made out of clay. At the same time, they make like clay art, which they sell to other villages to gain money and be able to get resources. But yeah, does it work well? Issei meets up with the kind of like princess of this place because mostly her parents who found this village kind of died a while ago thanks to the bandits around here. And of course, it worked well. She needed to get some people to hire. She did get some bodyguards, but they were easily killed by the bandits. So of course, this is where she asked for Naruto, who's considered to be a ninja slash bounty hunter, or mostly bounty hunter. This is where well, or just yeah, you get the point. This is where well, Issei said, "I see. So you want me to kind of get rid of the bandits and any of that?" Yes. Now, Issei has a mask, I should mention. He has a mask to cover up the face because he doesn't want any Leaf Ninjas to find out who exactly he is, if any of them are in this village. But yeah, he's just being really secretive. Now, the mask that he has kind of looks like this. So just think of the Ichigo Hollow mask, the holification mask. And of course, that's what Issei has. So yeah. But instead of having like red stripes, it's green. And of course, instead of the mask kind of being like a I don't know what kind of animal that would be, or mostly whatever Ichigo's kind of mask kind of has to be. Well, Recipient has to be. It kind of looks like a draconic mask mostly, but yeah. Like being dragon, like Dragon Maid, but yeah. But really badly. So this is where, well, Issei doesn't really care, but this is where, well, he kind of like asked for mostly the village instead of for money or any of that, because he doesn't really care about getting money for right now. He kind of asked mostly the princess herself to kind of make a mask for him to be quite durable, strong enough to take hits, and of course light enough still. Because he noticed that these people make poetry kind of like masks and other things, and these masks aren't that heavy half the time. But of course it worked well. The princess was kind of shocked until she nodded and says, "That would be okay. What kind of mask do you want it to be?" Issei said that he wanted to be like a dragon head, being able to cover up and well, mostly cover up his whole face because he doesn't like showing off his face. Mostly the princess nodded. Now the princess actually also noticed that Issei is quite the same size as her. She's actually like, well, mostly her height is 5'2", and Issei seems to be 5'2" also. Now, she's actually, well, 12 years old, I should mention, but yeah. Now, this is where, well, I should mention how the princess look like. The princess has kind of longish brownish hair, but of course, she's right now has it into somewhat of a ponytail, and this is where, well, or one pigtail, but yeah. This is where, well, she also kind of has, well, ponytail, whatever, never mind. I'm rambling on. Mostly, she also has these lightish kind of pinkish eyes and has a pinkish kind of flowery kimono, but yeah. This is where, well, she nodded at mostly Issei's request, but Issei does also ask for other demands. The other demand is when Issei decides to fully become a bounty hunting quest, if ever they need more stuff to get rid of, they just ask for him. Because he's not going to charge them for too much, because mostly he noticed that this town is quite small and feels quite bad for them. Kinda. This is where, Mom, mostly she nodded and says, "Well, thank you." This is where, well, she asked if Issei wants anything else. This is where her face was a little bit tinted blushing, thinking that mostly Issei will ask for her. Until Issei says, "No, not really. Maybe not really." This is where, well, she sighs and says, "Okay. I should also mention that we did send out some people to kind of get rid of the bandits. We don't know where they're at. Sorry." This is where, well, Issei says, "No, I'll be fine." What type of village are they from? They're from none village, but mostly, well, none of them from any type of, like, great nation village or any of that. They seem to just be someone like hunters like you. Issei says, "I see. Do you have an appearance and how they look like?" This is where, well, she nodded. She then kind of like pulled out some like pictures somewhat, because she's also somewhat of a drawer. She's an expert at drawing and other stuff. And this is where, well, mostly she like paints out mostly the person who was kind of like mostly the one that was kind of easier to draw was someone with kind of like short black hair, and of course had magenta eyes, and of course had glasses. This is where, well, she also kind of wear a kind of like black kind of outfit, being black long sleeves and black kind of pants. This is where she also wears kind of sandals, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei kind of looks at this picture, and right now near his eyes, from his mask, this is where Issei says, that picture looks just like Sona. This is where he thinks in his head. But this is where he's confused, because, well, Sona's not dead. He doesn't recall any of she ever dying before he get hit by a truck-gun. But he's confused why Sona's here. If that is even Sona. He kind of just like looks at it, and of course, this is where, well, you say a question the princess and what her name was. This is where, well, mostly the person kind of said, I don't remember her first name, but I think she said her last name was Shatora. Issei says, Sona Shatora. That can't be right. Issei thinks in his head, no, I refuse to believe she's here. If she's here, then what's with the other group? Could it be other people that I know? No, that's bad. This is where, well, Issei nodded and says, then I'll be looking for them too. Do you want me to bring them towards the village? No, I don't know what they want to do, but they can go with you, I guess. This is where, well, Issei sighs and says, sure. Issei decides to say, well, I'll be leaving. This is where, well, the princess says, wait, I forgot the dragon mask design. Issei gave her a picture and how he wants it designed, and of course it kind of looks like this. So I can't really find the mask, so I'm just going to go on with the what if, okay? But of course he gives her like a picture on how he wants it. Of course the mask should be like a red crimson like mask, the multicoloring, and of course the eye hole is supposed to be kind of green, glowing kind of green, but yeah. This is where, well, the person nodded and says, I will make it then. This is where she smiles at Issei while Issei kind of nodded while kind of disappearing. This is where she wonders if mostly Issei's smile was actually quite amazing, cute, or hot. This is where, Mom, she needs to get rid of that whole thought in her head because she's imagining his mostly face underneath, but mostly she can't imagine what he would look like, mostly upper face, but yeah. Mostly near the nose, eyes, and mostly just face in total. She's right now kind of blushing, having a perverted thought, but yeah. While we go into Issei kind of looking for mostly the bandits. Now, Issei has came across bandits and easily slaughtered them by just jumping up and swinging both of his kunais around, just cutting off both of their heads very easily, and keep kind of running around. This is where, well, Issei is looking around until he makes wooden clones, or not wooden clones, he makes Kage Bunshin to actually go look for mostly the hunters or whatever the hell they are, and also the bandits leader / whatever. This is where, well, we go into somewhat of a battle happening when one of the Kage Bunshins actually notices. The Kage Bunshin decides to poof away while kind of alerting the true leader. Now, of course, Issei decides to disappear, but some of the other Kage Bunshins were just killing off more random bandits around the village. While Issei managed to find, well, the true battle happening. This is where, well, or true, yeah, battle happening, not happening, happening. This is where, well, when Issei gets to, well, the battle, he just sees, well, mostly a total of 5 girls. Well, not even 5 girls. Well, it decided not to count the enemy. The enemy has 3 girls, and of course, all 3 of them, one has bluish hair with kind of bluish eyes and palish skin. And of course, the other one has kind of blackish hair, with blackish long hair with kind of reddish crimson eyes. And of course, she has blood around her, but it's not her blood. Well, technically, it is her blood because it's floating around her, making, well, mostly blood needles, while the other girl was actually making ice needles, but yeah, out of thin air. The last girl is mostly, the last girl had reddish eyes, 2 pigtails next to her, kind of having black pigtails. This is where she had a clock in her eye, and this is where she was shooting out these, like, guns, which actually confused the shit out of Issei, because first of all, this is the Shinobi world and not the gun world, because where the fuck did they get guns? But whatever. He noticed the other group, who was somewhat the huntress or whatever. He noticed the same girl, now of course from the picture, but of course she was kind of like having like cuts and bruises and other things. Of course, and mostly her clothing was kind of ripped pretty easily. This is where, well, the others kind of, well, one had bluish hair, and of course mostly had a similar outfit towards another one. But this is where he noticed all of them. So, one was blue hair, of course he didn't notice the eyes. Another one had reddish hair, like kind of like reddish orangey hair. Somewhat, you can't tell that much, but it was in two pigtails somewhat. Because, I say somewhat because, well, one of them were actually shot off, and of course the pigtails were kind of, well, mostly one of the pigtails were kind of no longer having that kind of band thing, the rubber band to cover, well, mostly keep the pigtails together. But this is where, well, the other two, which one had pinkish bright hair, but well, fuck's sake, Issei thinks of Sasura, but then again, he then thinks of this girl not being useless like Sasura. But just still, pink hair is the dumbest thing in this world. And he doesn't understand the genetics behind the pink hair. But yeah. This is where he sees someone with brownish hair, and the last one having brown hair, but of course having someone like 4 tails behind her. Like if she was a kitten. Now, he says confused, but this is where you just like shake his head. Sees mostly the 3 other girls, the enemy girls, kind of like advancing. This is where Issei says, what should I do? Fuck it. Issei mostly puts back to Kunas away, and this is where, well, Issei then summons out something from mostly a scroll, pulling out 2 daggers. Now the daggers look like this. So this is what the 2 daggers appear in Issei's hand, but don't worry about that. I'll explain how he got those, but not the point. This is where, well, he then kind of just like jumps off mostly the ledge that he was on top. That was a pretty big ledge, but this is where he jumps off. Right now appearing behind mostly the 3 girls that were still attacking the enemy girls. And before they can even react fast enough, Issei was already behind them. This is where Issei had both of mostly his daggers. He was about to stab them, but instead he just decided to knock them all out. Just to question who they were later, because, well, fuck it. They seem interesting and they have different bloodlines, which he would actually get information and the bloodlines, but yeah. So of course he decided not to stab onto them, but mostly knock them out super easily. The bluish hair girl tries to use ice to actually cover her behind, mostly her neck, because she noticed that she was about to get knocked out. But she was knocked out too easily, because mostly a punch to the gut was instantly knocked out. Mostly the blood user girl tried to attack Issei, but that's where Issei jumps away from her by mostly kind of just jumping over the attack, but then managing to swing his like dagger straight to her face. But of course, this is where she was shocked. She made a blood kind of like wall appear, but of course the dagger managed to just pierce through and about to like smash into her until mostly a punch to the gut knock her out instead. This is where the last one tried to kind of attack Issei by stopping time. This is where she activated one of her eyes, which one of her eyes had a clock in her mostly like eye. And she tried to stop time for Issei, which Issei activated his Sharingan. Mostly just basic Sharingan, just to look into her regular eye to put her in a Genjutsu. To think that she managed to like knock him out, but more mostly stop time for him. But it wasn't the case. She was knocked out instead, but yeah. We go into Issei being done with that, and this is where Issei then looks for the leader because he knows that the leader is close behind those trees. Issei says, you know you can stop hiding. I saw you and the complete bullshit illusion you're in. The leader kind of just walks out and just chuckles and says, damn you brat. I was hoping for you to kill those damn sluts of mine. I was actually hoping for you doing that because I wanted to desecrate her. This is where Issei says disgusting as fuck. This is where, well, Issei cut him off just saying disgusting as fuck. And this is where, well, the person says, you little brat. You don't know how long I wanted to just kind of do that to them. You know what happens to us when we even try? You guys either get frozen, stabbed by blood needle, or just get stopped time. Yes. Actually, how the hell you know that? Dude, I just fought them a while ago, and they seem to be using some kind of interesting abilities. Not the point. I just knocked them out because I knew you guys are disgusting as hell. Does it work? Well, the person scoffs and says, whatever, brat. We will kill you, and then we will take those 3 girls that you knocked out for us, and also then those behind you. Mr. Issei says, how about I don't do that, and instead kill you all, you pathetic weaklings. This is where, well, mostly the girls behind Issei are just confused, until Issei says, hey, you, just pick up these 3 girls and kind of bring them towards you. Other than that, I think it's a good idea for you to go back to the village. This is where, well, they're confused at what village. This is where Issei says the village that you just came from, the kind of clay village. This is where, well, mostly the guy starts kind of laughing and saying, oh, you're right, I forgot about the princess over there in that clay village. Yeah, she'd be a nice addition to us. This is where Issei just keeps ignoring this dumbass. He says, hurry up already, I don't have any time. This is where Issei gets annoyed with their whole lack of mostly awareness. This is where they do, and of course just kind of grab mostly the 3 of them and starts kind of dragging them back to the village, or trying to, but yeah. Issei then looks at mostly the kind of leader of the bandits, and of course bandits behind him. This is where, well, the leader of the bandits says, "Kill that brat!" This is where a bunch of bandits rushes straight towards Issei, and Issei sighs, and right now has his daggers. His eyes right now became still into the basic Sharingan, while he then just looks at most of the enemy. Issei says, "Pathetic." Issei throws back, both of his daggers down, and of course when the girl's already far enough from him, he goes to hand signs and says, "Fire style, majestic flame." Well, yeah, majestic flames jutsu. This is where, well, he sent such a powerful flames that it literally annihilated everyone that was in front of him. That being, well, the bandits, but except the leader. The leader was kind of burnt. His arm was burnt. His left arm. This is where he growls at Issei, saying, "I see, so you're a dangerous ninja. Now I know who you are. But that doesn't matter. I'll kill you and then be able to go after those girls." This is where, well, mostly Issei says, "God damn, you're a horny ass bastard. Can you just shut the fuck up for a second? God damn, can you, like, really shut the fuck up?" This is where Drake says, "At least I know someone like him." In this way, he says, "Shut up, Drake. I might have been like that in my previous life, but I didn't go after children like like Matsui was." This is right, Mom. Issei nodded, well, mostly not Issei, mostly Drake nodded, says, "I guess you're right." Issei right now gets both of his daggers and rushes at the bandit. The bandit's right now attacking Issei, or it's a bandit leader, but he's not actually a bandit leader. He's actually a ninja, a B-rank ninja. And this is where the B-rank ninja sends a, what's it called, iron-like ball at him with spikes, trying to hit Issei. Now Issei tries to like use his daggers to kind of like cut the chains, but of course he couldn't cut the chains because it was made out of chakra chains. This is where, well, Issei managed to jump away, managed to just dodge the iron spike ball, but of course he couldn't dodge mostly the person appearing above him. Even though this person is quite big, this person is quite fast also. This is where Issei winds his eyes, and this is where he gets his face smashed into the ground. This is where Issei was just shocked to believe that. This is where his mask started cracking, but he actually hasn't noticed the mask cracking. But this is where, well, Issei starts fighting back against this person. Now, of course, he needs to get rid of this goddamn pre-ranked ninja because it could be quite troublesome if he loses, what's it called, a contract with mostly this village. Because it can actually help this village grow, and of course, it will help him in the long run to actually also grow as mostly him becoming bigger and money, but whatever. This is where, well, he says, "Damn it, this guy's strong." This is where his mask breaks also again when the person smashes the iron mace into mostly Issei's face, mostly iron kind of like spike ball into his face. And this is where Issei was just shocked, but of course the iron spikes didn't actually hurt him because the mask is quite durable, but still not that durable enough because it starts shattering. This is where, well, Issei gets annoyed, so annoyed that he activates his MS, with just MS, not EMS. But this is where, well, he then starts fighting against the kind of B-rank ninja with the MS. This is where, well, he's kind of like being able to, well, be much more faster, but not faster. But let me say that again. He starts also using boosted gear to actually kind of boost his power to dodge some of the attacks and being able to outmaneuver this person, outspeed him most of the time. This is where the person swings mostly the iron ball trying to hit Issei, but Issei is easily dodging, being able to be flexible and dodge the attacks. Now, of course, Issei swings his left arm that had the boosted gear and punches man in the stomach so hard. The person right now coughed up some blood because, well, I should mention this person also had a jutsu on him that made his like skin being iron. Right now being iron. This is, I'm keep saying fucking worse, but mostly with the iron skin, it was already tough enough for Issei to punch him. That's why his right hand, mostly Issei's right hand, is right now bleeding because his knuckles are kind of bleeding. But of course, well, it healed in an instant after a while because thanks to the white Zestu's cells / Hashirama cells. Now, this is where, well, mostly the person says, "Die, you brat already!" He tries to grab the iron mace and tries to just slam into Issei, which Issei looks at mostly this iron mace about to smash upon him, which Issei says, "I'm not dying anytime." This is where he did punch him with what's it called, his left hand, but this is where Issei tries to, well, mostly still has his left hand into most of this person's gut. But this is where, well, the iron ball is about to smash upon him. This is where his mask shatters upon all of it, like it just fully shatters. And of course his eyes glows into a reddish greenish color. But around him, a rib cage appears and an arm appears also, grabbing the iron bar and crushing it in an instant. Crushing this guy's arms also. This is where the person screams out in pain, saying, "What are you? You damn demon!" Issei says, "I'm not a demon. I'm a dragon, bitch." This is where, well, Issei's eyes are right now into the EMS, and this is where Issei says, "Purgatory." Mostly he says, "Amaterasu Purgatory." This is where, well, he basically closes his eyes, and then mostly landed the purgatory in the black flames onto mostly the person. Right now, burning him in an instant. This is where he says, "You! I won't die!" This is where he says, "Yes, you will." Issei right now's body was covered up in emerald flames. Think of it like Yamamoto when he covered himself in those flames of like very hot temperatures. But yeah, like 50 million Celsius and melts the ground. Issei managed to cover himself like that, but it's not 15 million Celsius. But still, it's pretty hot, the emerald flames. And this is where both of his daggers are into this emerald flame color. And this is where Issei says, "Yes, you will. Now perish from existence." This is where the person still tries to rush at Issei with the purgatory and black flames being on top of him. This is where, well, he says, "I won't die." Issei says, "Yes, you will." Issei right now disappears from most of the person's sight and then appearing behind this person. The guy says, "Huh, you missed." When he tries to turn around, his head literally falls off the ground and his body just turns to ash after a while. This is where, he's right now deadpanning. Of course, his eyes are bleeding. Like, there's some blood actually, like, falling from his face, from both of his eyes. And this is where he says, "That was a tougher opponent I was actually fighting." This is where he's breathing really hard. His mask is already shattered. His face is rebuilt, but no one's near him. Not exactly, kind of. This is where, well, you see, he passes out. This is where he falls forward, well, face forward, and of course, he was about to, like, get knocked out entirely, because he was about to mostly face first to the ground until mostly his body stopped in an instant. It wasn't his will, because he's already unconscious, but someone actually managed to stop him. This is where, well, she was breathing out happily, thinking that she managed to stop this person from foot smashing into the ground too hard. So, of course, that happened. This is where, well, mostly someone with ice was kind of just looking at the boy. Well, not ice, but mostly blue hair. Well, lightish blue hair. This is where she sighs and says, "I see. So he killed our master, or that bastard, we can call it a bastard master, whatever." This is where, well, one girl kind of spoke up, that being the kind of blackish hair girl. Of course, the other people that were supposed to be trying to carry them back to the village were also there. They actually didn't fully leave because they couldn't tell if the person needed help or not. Because it seems the person was similar to their age. And at the same time, a little bit stronger and faster because taking out these three other girls. And so the three other girls kind of like walk up to Issei and manage to just pick him up and decide to bring him back to the village. And of course, well, mostly Issei, he wakes up kind of stirring his body. And of course, he feels like his body hurts a lot. Yes, it does hurt because he did get mostly a lot of shit smashed into him. Issei kind of opened his eyes, his emerald kind of like greenish eyes, kind of adjusting to the light. And this is where Issei, "Oh, that hurts. Where am I?" This is where he kind of feels his face, and this is where he says, "I don't have my mask anymore. It shattered a while ago." Issei tries to like get up, but this is where he feels his body hurt a lot. That fucking hurts a lot. This is where someone like mostly pushes their hand down towards Issei's chest, is telling him to calm down. Everything will be fine. This is where Issei opens his eyes and sees the princess. Now the princess is having a mad color of red in her face because mostly the person seems handsome as hell. This is where, well, Issei says, "Princess?" This is where, well, the princess kind of says, "Hey, hello." This is where she kind of blushes a little bit more. Issei said, "What are you?" This is where, well, she kind of says, "You passed out after the whole bandit attack, or bandit fight you had." Issei said, "I see." Now, I should mention one thing. The MS doesn't look like this, or not the MS. This is the MS, but this is the EMS, but this is how not the EMS looks like. It looks like this. I kind of changed it up a while ago, but yeah, this is how the EMS kind of looks like, but yeah. But this is where, well, or, you know what, this is the EMS, that's another type of EMS involvement, I'm just gonna say. But that's not the point. Mostly Issei kind of just like, where's my mask? This is where she said, oh, here it is. You passed out for 2 days, so that's why, I managed to finish it. Issei said, okay, give me it. This is where she says, no, until you give me something in return. Issei said, and what's that? Well, not in return for me, but mostly, those girls. They want something from you. Issei kind of looks up and sees Sona Sefri, mostly somewhat Sona Sefri look-alike, but she's 12 years old, and sees the other, like, 3 girls somewhat kind of just looking at him, and of course the other girls. That's where Issei says, who the hell are you? Whatever, I'm still too tired. Issei falls back asleep because he doesn't care. This is where I'm going to actually leave it off here for mostly 3 of this what if, but other than that, have a nice day, night, or whatever, because I gotta be going, but other than that, bye, see you on, yeah.